The Heat Signature. A sci-fi story. Part 1. The planet had no name, only a catalog number, HD6812C, a blue-green marble suspended in the black, wrapped in clouds that swirled like brushstrokes. From orbit it looked like a postcard of Earth, oceans, continents, polar caps, weather systems, a perfect match in every measurable way. Except for one thing. No heat signatures. Not from the forests. Not from the oceans. Not from the atmosphere. Not from the planet's core. The entire world read as a uniform, impossible 15 degrees Celsius. As if someone had painted the planet with a single temperature and refused to add shadows. Commander Mara Ellen stared at the thermal display, arms folded, jaw tight. Still nothing? Still nothing, replied Dr. Cade Riemann, the mission's xenobiologist. He tapped the console as if that might coax the sensors into sanity. The planet is warm. The air is warm. The water is warm. But nothing emits heat. Not a single photon above baseline. That's not possible, said pilot Junovar. Everything emits heat. Rocks emit heat. Dirt emits heat. Even dead planets have gradients. Not this one, Cade said. This one is flat. Mara exhaled slowly. We proceed anyway. HQ wants surface confirmation. HQ wants a miracle, Juno muttered. The survey ship Asterion descended through the atmosphere, engines humming. Clouds parted to reveal a lush valley carved between mountains, a river glinting like a silver vein. Trees swayed in a gentle breeze. Birds, if they were birds, circled overhead. Everything looked alive. Everything looked normal. But the thermal display remained a blank sheet of uniform blue. No warmth. No cold. No variation. Just nothing. Landing. The landing struts touched down on soft soil. The ramp lowered with a hiss, releasing the sterile scent of the ship into the earthy air of HD6812C. Mara stepped out first, helmet sealed, boots sinking slightly into moss. The air was crisp, fresh, almost sweet. The breeze carried the scent of pine and something floral. Atmosphere is breathable, Cade said, scanning. Nitrogen-oxygen mix. Trace gases within Earth norms. No toxins. No pathogens detected. Thermal? Mara asked. Cade hesitated. 15 degrees. Everywhere. Juno walked a slow circle around the landing site. Feels warmer than 15. It does, Cade agreed. But the suit sensors say 15. Mara crouched and touched the moss. Felt soft, springy, alive. She pressed harder, expecting warmth from friction, from pressure, from anything. Nothing. It felt like touching something that wasn't quite there. Let's set up camp, she said. We'll run a full survey cycle. They unloaded equipment. Thermal probes, atmospheric samplers, soil analyzers. The camp unfolded like a mechanical flower, tents, power nodes, comms arrays. Everything worked flawlessly. Everything felt wrong. The first drop. 3 hours after landing, Cade noticed the first anomaly. Mara, he called from the med tent. You need to see this. She entered, removing her gloves. What is it? Cade pointed to a hollow display showing their biometric readings. Our body temperatures. Mara frowned. They're low. Too low, Cade said. We're all down by half a degree. That's within normal variation. Not when all three of us drop at the same rate at the same time in the same environment. Mara studied the graph. A smooth, steady decline. Equipment malfunction? I checked. Twice. Juno entered, rubbing her arms. Anyone else feel off? How off? Mara asked. Like I'm cold but not cold. Like the cold is inside me. Cade nodded. That matches the readings. Mara looked between them. We've been here 3 hours. That's not enough time for hypothermia. It's not hypothermia, Cade said. It's something else. Environmental. Maybe. But the air is warm. The ground is warm. Everything is warm. Except us. Mara's jaw tightened. We continue the survey. But we monitor this closely. The forest. The forest surrounding the valley was dense, vibrant, alive with color. Leaves shimmered in shades of emerald and gold. Vines twisted around trunks like serpents. Flowers bloomed in impossible shapes. But the silence was wrong. No insects, no rustling, no animal calls, only the wind. Juno swept her scanner across the trees. Still nothing. No heat signatures. Not even from us. That's impossible, Mara said. Tell the scanner, Juno replied. Cade knelt beside a cluster of flowers. These are photosynthetic. They should emit heat, even a fraction of a degree. Maybe the planet radiates heat differently, Mara suggested. No, Cade said. Heat is heat. Thermodynamics doesn't care about alien biology. He touched a petal. Felt soft, delicate, cool. Too cool. Let's take samples, Mara said. They collected leaves, soil, water. Everything behaved normally, chemically, structurally, biologically. Except for the temperature. Everything was 15 degrees. Exactly 15 degrees. The second drop. By evening, their body temperatures had dropped another half degree. Mara felt it now. A creeping chill that clung to her bones. Not painful. Not dangerous. Just wrong. Cade paced the med tent. This isn't environmental. It's systemic. Meaning? Mara asked. Meaning the planet is doing something to us. Juno sat on a crate, arms wrapped around herself. I feel like I'm being drained. Cade nodded. That's exactly what's happening. Our thermal energy is decreasing at a fixed rate. Why? Mara asked. I don't know. But it's not natural. Mara exhaled. We leave at dawn. Juno looked up sharply. We're aborting? Yes. Cade hesitated. What if the process continues after we leave? Mara froze. Explain. Cade brought up the graph again. The decline is linear, not exponential, not environmental. It's as if something is pulling heat from us directly. If that's the case, leaving might not stop it. Mara stared at him. You think the planet is draining us? I think the planet is absorbing thermal energy from anything living. Juno swallowed. And once it starts, it might not stop, Cade finished. Nightfall. Night came quickly on HD 6812C. The sky darkened to a deep violet, stars emerging like scattered diamonds. The air remained a perfect 15 degrees, but the camp felt colder, much colder. Mara sat by the portable heater, hands extended. The heater glowed orange, but she felt nothing. No warmth, no comfort. It's not working, she said. Cade checked the device. It's functioning. It's producing heat. But the heat isn't reaching us. Where is it going? Juno asked. Cade looked at the ground. Down. Mara stood. We're leaving. Now. They rushed to the ship, boots pounding against the soil. The ramp lowered. The interior lights glowed warmly. But the warmth felt distant, thin, as if filtered through glass. Juno ran to the cockpit. Pre-flight checks green. Engines warming. Mara strapped in. Take us up. Juno initiated liftoff. Nothing happened. Come on, she muttered, tapping controls. Engines aren't spooling. Cade checked the diagnostics. Power levels are dropping. Dropping, Mara repeated. Why? Cade swallowed. Because the ship is warm. Mara stared at him. You're saying the planet is draining the ship too? Yes. Juno slammed her fist against the console. We're trapped. The third drop. By midnight, their body temperatures had dropped another degree. Mara felt sluggish, heavy, as if moving through water. Her breath fogged inside her helmet, even though the air wasn't cold. Cade's hands shook as he scanned himself. We're losing heat faster now. Rate increased. Mara asked. Yes, the planet is adapting. Juno leaned against the wall. I can't feel my fingers. Mara steadied herself. We need to find shelter. Somewhere insulated. Cade shook his head. Insulation won't help. The planet isn't absorbing heat through the air. It's absorbing it directly from us. Then how do we stop it? We don't. Silence. Then Mara said, "There has to be a way." Cade looked at her, eyes hollow. "Mara, this planet is a thermal sink. A perfect thermal sink. It absorbs heat from anything that touches it. Anything that enters its atmosphere. Anything alive." Juno whispered, "Why?" Cade exhaled. "Maybe it evolved that way. Maybe it's a defense mechanism. Maybe it's not even biological. Maybe it's geological. Or planetary. Or something else entirely." Mara clenched her fists. "We're not dying here." Cade didn't respond. The signal. At 2:14, the comms array picked up a signal. Faint, rhythmic pulse. Mara rushed to the console. "Is it from HQ?" "No," Juno said. "Wrong frequency. Wrong modulation." Cade leaned in. "It's local." "Local," Mara repeated. "From where?" Juno adjusted the filters. "From the mountains." The pulse repeated. 3 beats. Pause. 3 beats. Pause. Mara frowned. "A distress signal?" Cade shook his head. "Not human. Alien?" Juno whispered. "Maybe." Mara straightened. "We follow it." Juno stared at her. "In our condition? We don't have a choice. If someone, or something, survived here, they might know how." Cade hesitated. "Or they might be dead. Then we learn from their mistakes." The march. They set out before dawn, following the signal toward the mountains. The terrain shifted from forest to rocky foothills, the ground crunching beneath their boots. Their breath grew shallow, their limbs heavy. Mara checked her vitals. Another drop. Cade nodded weakly. "We're down 3 degrees total." Juno stumbled. Mara caught her. "Stay with me." "I'm trying," Juno whispered. "Everything feels slow." Cade scanned the ground. "The thermal gradient is increasing." Mara frowned. Meaning the planet is pulling heat faster the farther we go." "Then why is the signal coming from this direction?" Cade didn't answer. The structure. By midday, they reached the base of the mountains. A structure jutted from the rock, metallic, angular, half-buried. Not natural. Alien. Mara approached cautiously. "This is the source of the signal." Juno stared. "It's a ruin." Cade touched the metal. "Cold." "Everything is cold," Mara said. "No," Cade whispered. "This is colder." He scanned it. 10 degrees. Mara blinked. "Lower than the planet?" "Yes." Juno shivered violently. "What does that mean?" Cade swallowed. "It means something inside is colder than the planet wants it to be." Mara stepped toward the entrance. "Then we go inside." The chamber. The interior was vast, cathedral-like, illuminated by faint blue light. Walls covered in symbols. Machinery frozen in time. And in the center, a sphere. Floating. Rotating slowly. Emitting a soft hum. Cade stared. "This is a thermal regulator." Mara frowned. "Explain." "It's absorbing heat. Actively. Purposefully." Juno's voice trembled. "So the planet isn't doing this naturally?" "No," Cade said. "This device is." Mara approached the sphere. "Can we shut it down?" Cade hesitated. "Maybe. But if we do, what?" "The planet might collapse thermally. Or erupt. Or freeze. Or something worse." Mara clenched her jaw. "We're dying, Cade." "I know." Juno sank to her knees. "I can't feel anything." Mara grabbed Cade's arm. "We shut it down." Cade looked at her, eyes filled with fear. "Then we'd better hurry." The 4th drop. As they approached the sphere, their temperatures dropped again. For degrees below normal. Mara's vision blurred. Her limbs felt like stone. Her heartbeat slowed. Cade stumbled. "It's accelerating." Juno collapsed. "Mara!" Mara dragged herself forward. "Cade, how do we shut it down?" Cade pointed weakly. "Control node On the pedestal. Mara reached the pedestal. Her fingers trembled as she touched the interface. It lit up. Symbols shifted. Pattern emerged. A choice. 2 options. Stabilize. Deactivate. Mara hesitated. Cade, which one? Cade's voice was barely a whisper. I don't know. Mara stared at the options. Her vision dimmed. Her breath slowed. Her body grew colder. She made her choice and pressed her hand to the interface. Part 2. Mara's hand pressed against the interface, her palm trembling, her breath shallow. The symbols pulsed beneath her skin, reacting to her presence, her warmth. What little remained of it. The chamber dimmed. The sphere brightened. Cade forced himself upright. Mara, what did you choose? Mara didn't answer immediately. Her vision swam, the world tilting. Deactivate. Cade's face twisted in fear. Mara! The sphere shuddered. A deep, resonant hum filled the chamber, vibrating through their bones. The air thickened, as if the atmosphere itself were holding its breath. Then the temperature dropped. Not gradually. Instantly. A violent plunge. Mara gasped as the cold hit her like a physical blow. Her suit's thermal regulators screamed warnings. Frost formed on her visor. Her breath crystallized. Juno collapsed, convulsing. Cade staggered toward the sphere. It's destabilizing. The regulator wasn't just draining heat. It was holding something back. Mara forced herself to move, muscles stiff, joints locking. What is happening? Cade pointed at the sphere, now cracking like ice under pressure. The planet isn't a thermal sink. The regulator was the sink. It was containing the planet. Mara's heart pounded painfully. Containing what? The sphere split open. A shock wave of cold radiated outward, slamming into them. The lights flickered. The walls groaned. And something woke. The planet breathes. The ground trembled. Not like an earthquake. More like a shiver. A planetary exhale. Cade clung to a support beam. The planet's core temperature is dropping. Fast. Mara's teeth chattered. How fast? Cade checked his scanner. 10 degrees. 20. 30. It's falling toward absolute zero. Juno whimpered on the floor, her voice barely audible. We're freezing. Mara grabbed her, pulling her close. Stay with me. Cade's eyes widened. Mara, the planet wasn't draining us. The regulator was preventing the planet from draining everything. Mara stared at him. Meaning the planet itself is a thermal vacuum. A natural one. Perfect one. It absorbs heat because that's what it is. Mara's breath hitched. Then why did the regulator exist? Cade swallowed. Because something built it. Something that lived here. Something that needed to survive. The chamber lights flickered again, then died. Darkness swallowed them. The cold below. The darkness wasn't empty. It had weight, presence. A cold so deep it felt alive. Mara activated her helmet light. The beam cut through the dark, illuminating the shattered sphere. Frost spread across the floor like veins. Juno's lips were blue, her breathing shallow. Cade's voice trembled. We need to get out. Now. Mara nodded. Help me with Juno. They lifted her between them, stumbling toward the exit. The walls were coated in ice. The air burned their lungs. Outside, the sky had changed. Clouds froze mid-formation, suspended like sculptures. The wind died. The world fell silent. The temperature continued to drop. Cade checked his scanner again. -20. -30. It's accelerating. Mara tightened her grip on Juno. We need shelter. There is no shelter, Cade said. Not from this. Mara looked toward the valley. The forest was crystallizing. Trees turning to glass. Leaves shattering like brittle ornaments. The planet was dying. Or waking. She wasn't sure which was worse. The signal changes. The pulse from the mountains changed. 3 beats. Pause. 2 beats. Pause. 1 beat. Then silence. Cade froze. It's shutting down. Mara frowned. The signal. No, Cade whispered. The regulator's failsafe. Mara's stomach twisted. Failsafe? Cade nodded slowly. If the regulator is deactivated, the failsafe triggers. It's trying to restart the system. Can it? Mara asked. Cade hesitated. Maybe, but it needs heat. Mara looked around at the freezing landscape. There is no heat left. Cade met her eyes. There is one source. Mara understood immediately. Us. The choice. They reached the structure's entrance again. The cold was unbearable now. Juno drifted in and out of consciousness, her body limp. Cade leaned against the wall, breath ragged. The regulator needs a thermal jumpstart. Enough heat to reignite the containment field. Mara's voice cracked. How much? Cade didn't answer. Mara grabbed his arm. How much, Cade? He looked at her with hollow eyes. All of it. Mara's breath caught. It would kill us. Yes. Juno stirred weakly. Mara, don't. Mara held her close. I'm not letting you die. Cade shook his head. If we don't restart the regulator, the planet will reach absolute zero. Everything will freeze. Even the ship. Even orbit. We won't escape. Mara stared at the shattered sphere. So we sacrifice ourselves to save, what? A dead world. Cade's voice softened. Not the world. The system. The regulator was built to protect something. Maybe the builders. Maybe future visitors. Maybe the planet itself. Mara clenched her jaw. We don't know. No, Cade said. But we know what happens if we do nothing. Juno whispered. I don't want to die. Mara felt her heart break. I know. Cade stepped toward the pedestal. The interface is still active. It will accept a thermal input. Mara stared at him. You're going to do it. Cade nodded. I'm already colder than you. I won't last long anyway. Mara grabbed his arm. No. Cade smiled weakly. Mara, you're the commander. You need to make the call. Mara's throat tightened. I won't order you to die. Cade's smile faded. Then let me choose. The sacrifice. Cade approached the pedestal. The symbols glowed faintly, waiting. Mara held Juno, tears freezing on her cheeks. Cade, please. He looked back at her. If this works, the regulator will restart. The planet will stabilize. You might survive long enough to reach the ship. And if it doesn't? Mara asked. Cade exhaled. Then we die anyway. He placed his hands on the pedestal. The chamber lit up. The symbols flared. The sphere's fragments lifted into the air, drawn together by invisible force. Cade screamed. His body convulsed as heat ripped from him, drawn into the machine. Frost spread across his skin. His breath crystallized. Mara cried out. Cade! He didn't respond. The sphere reassembled, glowing brighter, brighter, then ignited. A shock wave of warmth blasted outward, melting frost, thawing air, restoring motion to the world. Cade collapsed, unmoving. Mara rushed to him, Juno limp in her arms. Cade! Cade! He didn't breathe. He didn't move. He was gone. The aftermath. The temperature stabilized at 15 degrees. Exactly 15. The forest thawed. The clouds resumed their drift. The world returned to its impossible equilibrium. The regulator hummed softly, its containment field restored. Mara knelt beside Cade's body, her tears falling silently. Juno lay beside her, breathing shallow but steady. Mara, Juno whispered. Did it work? Mara nodded. Yes. Juno closed her eyes. I'm sorry. Mara shook her head. Don't be. She looked at the sphere, pulsed gently, alive, awake, watching. The truth. Mara carried Juno back to the ship. The engines responded this time, power level stable. The ship's internal heat returned, but Mara felt none of it. She laid Juno in the medbay, wrapped her in thermal blankets. Juno drifted into uneasy sleep. Mara returned to the cockpit. The planet rotated below, serene, beautiful, deadly. She accessed the regulator's data logs, transmitted through the ship's sensors. The logs were ancient, millions of years old. They told a story. A species had lived here once. A species that thrived on cold. A species that evolved on a planet that absorbed heat like a sponge. But something changed. Cosmic event. A stellar flare. A shift in the planet's orbit. The world warmed. Too much. The species built the regulator to restore balance. To keep the planet cold enough for them to survive. But they failed. The logs ended abruptly. Mara stared at the final entry. A single symbol. A warning. Do not turn it off. She closed her eyes. Cade had died to restore a system built for a species long extinct. A system that would kill anything warm-blooded that touched the planet. A system that would continue forever, unless someone stopped it. But stopping it meant death. There was no solution, only survival. Departure. Juno woke hours later, weak but alive. Mara, are we leaving? Mara nodded. Yes. Juno looked toward the planet. What about Cade? Mara's voice cracked. We can't bring him. The planet won't let us. His body is already too cold. It would destabilize the ship. Juno closed her eyes. I'm sorry. Mara placed a hand on her shoulder. He saved us. The ship lifted off, engines roaring. The planet shrank beneath them, returning to its postcard perfection. Mara watched it until it was a distant sphere. Beautiful, silent, deadly. She whispered, "Goodbye, Cade." The final revelation. As they left the system, the ship's sensors detected something. A faint signal. 3 beats. Pause. 3 beats. Pause. Mara froze. Juno looked at her. Is that the regulator? Mara shook her head slowly. No. The signal was coming from another planet. Another world. Another thermal vacuum. Juno's voice trembled. There are more. Mara stared into the void. Yes. The signal repeated. A warning. A beacon. A trap. Mara set a course away from the system, away from the signal, away from the cold. But she knew the truth. The galaxy was full of worlds like HD 6812C. Worlds that looked perfect. Worlds that felt warm. Worlds that hid their hunger beneath a veneer of beauty. Worlds waiting for heat. Waiting for life. Waiting for them. Mara whispered into the dark. We have to warn them. Juno nodded weakly. Who? Mara stared ahead, eyes hard. Everyone. This is the end of the sci-fi story, The Heat Signature. Leave a like if you enjoyed the story, and subscribe for more sci-fi stories. Thanks for listening.